Hello and welcome to Contra Republic, episode 6.
What's in the docket for today?
You know, why do I always have to come up with the topics? Why can't you come? We've been doing this like almost now more than almost 4 years now. And one One Nation, the sad thing is no one has attempted to bribe us with money though. Like I'd at least like the attempt, like some Russian guy like, "Hey, you want a few $1,000,000?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm good."
Well, say Livy, I guess.
Nation, even your blog, you've ever gotten approached by someone who's a weirdo who is definitely working for some government's intelligence agency?
I got some offers to do advertisements. They're like, "Oh, hey, we run this Patriot supply store, or we do this kind of survival gear, or we do this kind of
Why didn't you take them?
Because I'm not going to
Well,
you've seen my content.
I mean, I think people who enjoy that content would buy survival gear.
Anyone who would support my material anyone who would want to give me money for advertisement probably doesn't know my material and would probably be scandalized if they did. So in a way, I kind of
They deserve to be scandalized then.
no, because then once you sign advertisement contracts and this and that, you have to give them your banking information and your identity. And since I try to keep my identity, private, I mean that's also a factor too as well.
You do realize that Patreon also does that.
I mean,
what's on the docket is the N-word lady, the Canadian election, and the death of the Pope.
Okay, so is that the order you want to start in?
Not really. I don't care which order we start in.
Okay, well, I mean, it seems like a good order anyway, so what are your thoughts on the N-word lady?
Oh my god, we should probably pull up the video.
I mean, everyone's seen it by now. We probably can't play it.
We can't play it? Well, why? I say the N-word constantly.
Yeah, but this is like a pretty big video, so I'm pretty sure YouTube and other things are pretty hip to it. But
fuck.
Well, everyone's heard it. Everyone kind of knows it.
Yeah. Well, my thoughts is that's exactly how you should talk to uppity blacks at all times. Well, if you're in the U.S., that's how I talk to uppity blacks.
I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. It's like you've seen the James Lindsays and those kinds of people, of course, denounce her, and those on the left denounce her as well, which is to be expected. I guess the biggest thing is that she opened the Give Send Go and she got $500,000, or she's still getting money from it.
I think
and she didn't get canceled. So to me, that's kind of the extent of my interest in the story. So I don't know, calling a 5-year-old the N-word.
You ever had to deal with little Niglets?
I live in a multicultural place.
You deal with Jeetlets. Jeetlets are very small and easy for white kids to knock over.
We have Negroes in Canada as well.
Yeah, but you don't have savage American. You don't have those were Somali Negroes. Those are the worst types. Even other Africans don't like Somalians.
Yeah, sure, but it's still a bad show to call a 5-year-old a slur.
No,
again, even if it's his.
Well, look. Here's the thing. I've dealt with a shitbag shit. I've taken one of my nephews to the park, and he's not actually my blood nephew. I just watch him sometimes for his pet
yeah, babysitting, whatever.
And there was this little Negro child, and he was stealing his toys. Same thing as can you stop? You need to tell your kid to stop doing that. She's like, how dare you? And they get all uppity, and they always do that. And they just let their kids do whatever they want. And if they need to be put in their place, and that's what you say. Listen, you little, and you say, listen, you little pickaninny, stop it, bad pickaninny. It's like scolding a dog. because these people don't discipline they discipline the children in the wrong way, and they just then they get all uppity when you tell the little pickaninnies that they're stealing other kid toys is wrong. I knew that when I was 6, that taking other kids' stuff is mean and wrong.
Yeah, but there's also the fact too, like it doesn't win people the cause by doing those kinds of things, or kind
It
of further your. I mean, the thing it
seems
furthers
to
is like,
work.
yes, okay, it normalizes that, which is, I mean, could have positive effects, but it's like, I don't know, it's very like reckless to also to
Look,
confront someone like that. I mean, she could have been shot or stabbed or something, or just beat up by, like, whomever.
yeah,
Like,
it's an act of actual bravery, just telling niggers to fuck off. Like, literally.
yeah.
Here's the thing. People should stop saying, "Oh, you should just be nice to them and they'll go away." No. You need we need to bring back the consequences for being an uppity porch monkey, which is a nice tight noose and your ass hanging from a tree. Again, they don't teach their children to behave properly. I don't This whole idea that, oh, socioeconomics and all these other
Look,
things.
I'm yeah, I don't care about that. I'm just saying that it's like, like, I'm glad. It's just a weird thing to like to celebrate and get all like excited for. Like, again, like I'm not like against her. I don't think she's like a horrendously like bad person or something. I'm glad she's not canceled. I'm glad I'm glad it's this kind of successful thing where it's like, does she kind of deserve the money for this? Like, is that kind of behavior you want to necessarily reward? I mean,
Yes,
I
we
don't
want.
know, but
Yes, we want to reward whites standing up for themselves and telling minorities to shove it. Blacks blacks in this country are the worst. Blacks don't even just fuck with white people. This is me just trying to go all races. They fuck with everyone, and they
no,
need
I
to
get
be.
that. I know the Chinese hate them. I know
Everyone
the
hates
Mexicans
them.
hate them too as well. Like, for a
No
lot of
one likes
things.
black people. Even Indians hate. Imagine being so disgusting that Indians hate you. And again, Indians are worse, but that's for different reasons.
Sure. Yeah. No. Well, that's fair.
But
And again, I don't know. It's just funny. Like, I guess for me, I don't know. I just see it, and I know people are saying, "Oh, it's white trash and this and that," right? And I kind of like, neither here nor there. But there is something that does seem a bit classless or a bit tasteless, the way that she acted. But I mean, supposedly, like, she's had a rough life. She's kind of lower income too, and she's a single mom too, as well, right? And
the lower class whites have having to been dealing with black abuse the longest. They're literally the people who have to deal with the brunt of these people's like I grew up in a very middle class neighborhood. I didn't have to deal with feral monkeys until I started working in Philadelphia. And someone was shot like right next door to where I work that night, like 2 hours after I got off work. After $30. That could have been me. It's like, you know what? I have zero sympathy for blacks. I have zero sympathy for blacks. I have zero sympathies for minorities. When people just say, you know what? You take your black ass and get out. Your little monkey shine child. Look at Carmelo Anthony. This is that's a little
well, and exactly, that's the kind of thing people were drawing attention to as well.
this little monkey, little future career criminal stabbed a perfectly functioning white kid because that's how he's taught. It's like, how dare you? And they would like literally kill Whitey. Blacks literally do need the Klan to keep them in line. They do. Blacks will not be in line. Like, either they need to be taught that if they step out of line, they get a noose around their neck, or they should be sent back to Africa. I would.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, sorry. I think my internet just chopped out for a bit. It's okay though. No, I know. I get what you're saying. I don't know. Again, it's just still like, I don't necessarily disagree, but I don't know. There's a way to also convey a message that's But anyways, I'm not
There's a
again,
way.
I'm not like gonna carry. I'm not gonna carry water for like
There's a
what he
way.
was doing, but
Like the whole optics things. Like, oh, there's a way you should say things. That's not respectable. Screw that. Rockwell
no.
was right when he says You put swastikas on things. The people who are willing to march under that are better people. I'm not saying that you necessarily need to put swastikas on things, but it's the sentiment that it's really completely pointless to try and let the left dictate your ability. It's like when we did that first episode with Lavender. It's like the left thinks we're fascists and the Iron Guard were bad. It's like people who defend Kirill II of Romania should honestly get fucked. Like seriously, get fucked about defending Kirill. But that's the whole point. People are so concerned about what the left thinks. You know what we should care what the left thinks? Nothing. The left should be in a shallow grave on the side of a highway. Or publicly execute. Well, sorry. So hold on.
You're really not expecting this pod.
Those nation, there was way worse things I said in previous episodes for some reason that were still up. Like we didn't even get taken down for the 3 hours of Holocaust denial, which I regret deleting that episode because that was the best episode with God Mitsuru. It was nothing but 3.5 hours of Holocaust denial.
I don't even remember that. Was that even a? Oh, okay. Understandable.
Nation, you know what's gonna happen if this episode gets taken down? What? I'm going to make another YouTube channel and just upload it on Odyssey. I'm a band-aid like a boss. But that's the point. It's like caring about what uppity minor, nation. I've literally listened.
Well, I'm not saying I don't.
No, let me give you an example.
No. But you're saying I'm carrying water for hood rats or something. Sure. But what I'm saying is that as well, you'd want to be kind of a ruling class or kind of a noble people. There's a certain way in which we should conduct ourselves, and calling a 5-year-old child the N-word. Again, it's just poor form.
If a 5-year-old child is stealing from your kid, man, the uppity monkeys won't put their kids in line. Yeah. Tell that little nigger off. Get you little. What he should have called him a hell spawn. Listen, you little prick.
I would just tell him off.
Listen, no, they never do.
Yeah, and then when you start throwing language like that around, you're gonna get shot. It's it's just we say, oh, blacks have low impulse control, sure. So calling a 5-year-old and the N-word, how's that not
afraid of blacks? Carry a gun. I mean, I live in a state.
I'm not saying I'm afraid of blacks. I'm saying she's acting like a black.
No, she's acting like a white woman who's had to deal with Negroes her entire life because.
Well, as I said, it does sound like she snapped. But again, though, it's
it's you're acting like a nigga. It's who are you, Sargon? You're acting like white niggers.
White niggers exist. I'm sorry, there are people of my own race and ethnicity that act deplorably, and when I see that, I'm going to call them out. And I'm not saying this woman's like that, obviously, but I'm saying she did act in a less, she acted in a way that was less than virtuous, which is fine. I'm glad her life isn't destroyed. I'm glad she's going to make a payday. But again, that's still not something that I think we should aspire to. We shouldn't just
I think people have had the fill with blacks doing whatever the hell they want.
No, it's true. And I think that's what her kind of outburst is. It's kind of showing that in the zeitgeist, things are kind of, going down, ideas and phraseology and these kinds of things are going down a positive path. But still, again, I don't.
We should get to the point where if someone like Carmelo Anthony did that thing, there wouldn't be a trial. There'd just be some nice gentlemen with some hoods. They'd come to his house and they'd give him a necklace and he'd be swinging from a tree. Or given a trial. It would be probably a 2-day trial. Guilty, hang his ass.
Right. Yeah, and I get that, but it's anyways. I don't know. Just see how it goes,
Let's see how it goes. Okay, that was 14 minutes of uninterrupted racial slurs. Actually, so the Pope's dead after visiting with J.D. Vance. So, what are your thoughts on the U.S. president assassinating the most liberal Pope?
I don't know. It like just one sec. Sorry, had an important email. Uh, with the whole Pope and the like JD. I mean, I guess for me, right? Like, I don't really care what the Pope does. I don't really care what the Catholic Church does. I know as like a Christian or but Christian generally, right? Like the Pope is like Catholicism is kind of a weather vane to kind of see where things are going. And despite their opposition to him, Protestants do kind of like pattern themselves in a way after like Roman Catholicism, and of course Orthodoxy and certain patriarchates are kind of in bed with like the papacy as well. So I do get that it's important, but like to me in my daily life, like when he was like sick in the hospital, right? I said a prayer. I prayed that he. Hmm? What?
I was celebrating. It's like, death to the worst pope ever. Fuck him.
There have been worse popes.
Yeah, I know.
There were
There's been
popes who literally like anyways, but
yeah,
that not neither
Borgia.
here nor there, right? Yeah, yeah. But it's like, or even Hildebrand and whatever
Well,
too.
like, well, the thing
But
about like Borgia and Hildebrand is their corruption at least was because they wanted money. Like it was purely economical, the corruption. It wasn't because there was some sort of ideologue or trying to undermine the church. They just liked money.
well, I mean, I do think that Pope Francis, as misguided as he was, he did it because I mean, either it was CIA control or he actually believed what
It
he did. And
wasn't
I think,
CIA control. He was
sure,
a
sure, sure,
literal Kremlin. He was a literal liberation theology,
sure. And
Marxist
he so
long.
and he believed what he preached, right? I mean, in a way, it's almost I know it's better to be wrong because you believe it, or do deliberately bad things because you want to have pleasure or money, like the Hildebrand or like
I think
the
it's better
Borgias.
to
But
deliberately
anyway,
bad things because you just want money. Because it's a very base instinct to do bad things for money. Because again, at least someone who's doing it for money is getting some sort of actual objective reward out of it. And the other person is just doing it because they're serving the will of Satan.
I mean, there's certainly will to say either way, but it's like no. But anyway, but that's not necessarily the point. But anyways, like when he was on his deathbed or in the hospital, I prayed that he would die in accordance to God's timing and that he'd repent and convert. Obviously to Orthodoxy, but again, like that was the prayer I made, right? Because I don't necessarily want anyone to die per se, especially die unrepentant. But now that he's gone, it's like okay, well, cool. Now we're in the interregnum period between papacies, and I mean, I guess for me, Francis seemed to have a real kind of hankering to establish some kind of union between the papacy and the Church of Constantinople. And now that he's dead, I mean, I don't know how far those plans were going or anything, but like now that he's
Yeah,
dead, I mean,
there
that
was
probably
the
won't happen now. So maybe it
yeah.
was providential. Like maybe God was
Yeah,
like,
well,
okay,
yeah,
well,
yeah. Hopefully, Kirill and the other guy can follow him, the Patriarch of Constantinople.
whatever. But anyways, the point
I,
is, it's like
Nation, I'm never sure about this theologically. Do we not? Do we believe patriarchs are infallible? Or no, I'm pretty sure we
no,
don't.
no, we don't. They're just bishops. They're
All
just
right.
bishops who preside over a larger territory due to like I'd say not political concerns, but kind of like geographic concerns.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to his replacement, like all the people's like, yeah, Pope Sarah or the one American guy who literally wants to drag his corpse out, conservative American cardinal wants to drag his corpse out and put it on trial. It's like, nope. Francis did his best to fill the cardinalship with his sycophants and creeps. You're getting liberation theology, most likely pedophile Filipino weirdo.
Like as I said, it just doesn't really matter to me. It doesn't really affect me. I mean, it'll be like my issues with Catholicism don't really like most of what I don't like about Catholicism doesn't really come from the modern era, anyways.
Well,
Like
I
my
guess
critiques and
Catholics have a
refutations.
lot less power in Canada than they do in the U.S. Like Catholics do have a lot of political power in the U.S.
I mean, as they do in Canada, but I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean, I generally want to see someone who is more. I generally would want to see someone like the American or Cardinal Sarah as the next pope, but that's not going to happen. And then Catholics are going to cope about it and continuously cope and go to go to mass and quote more about how their church is not filled with pedophiles, how it's not undermining the United States.
Well, I mean, in a way, it'd almost be worse if they gotten like a quote unquote based pope, because then all the people who are kind of like iffy about Catholicism would kind of be placated for a time. It'd be like when the Republicans get in and the conservatives get in. It's like, oh yeah, no, all the people who are like right wing or traditional to one degree or another are like, oh yeah, no, it's safe, everything's good, and then wait like 15 years and the liberal pope comes again. It's like, no, like your problem isn't with Pope Francis, it's with Catholicism as a whole. You just haven't realized that yet. Because any system that could elevate a man like Francis to the papacy is really not fit for purpose.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we kind of, the Russian Orthodox Church literally has a former KGB agent as its head.
Yeah, so what?
Well, Kirill shouldn't be the head of the Russian Orthodox Church.
Why not? Why?
Because he literally was part of an organization that persecuted Orthodox Christians and murdered
every priest and bishop was associated with or like a part of the KGB during the Soviet times. That was just the cost of doing business.
Expelled. They should have been expelled from the priesthood, and they should have we really should have set up the patriarchy outside of the U.S. outside of the Soviet Union, which was the original plan.
But you can't really have a patriarchate in exile that way.
Yeah, you can. You can hang out in the U.S.
Well, why would we want to go to the U.S.? Jeez, I'd rather go to the Soviet Union than the U.S.
Nation, you're always on about the U.S., but you're always on about the U.S.
I say it in jest.
Oh yeah,
obviously,
yes, eternal Canadian.
Of course.
Whatever a future 51st state.
I will leave before that happens.
Where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna go?
I don't know, probably Russia or the UK.
Probably not the UK. You don't want to go to the UK. You get arrested.
Well, I'd rather be arrested than live like a free American.
Why?
The degree to which
you can call people trannies and legally shoot people if they come on your property.
Trannies in the UK now, which is pretty cool.
Well, yeah, not really.
Whatever. The point. Well, no, it's like I don't want to give my dead body. I don't want to be buried in the heart of the Republican entity. I want to give back and contribute to your whole a nation I love. So
your whole view on America and the things you blame America for are all things that don't even originate in America. Like republicanism and how the U.S. sets itself up is based on Anglo-Saxon views on liberty. We just couldn't decide who was king. Most of the U.S. is set up because we couldn't decide who should be monarch. Or we were having
America's not a monarchy because they fought this war against a king who they claimed to be a tyrant. So it'd be kind of hypocritical if they established a monarchy.
There was large amounts of they were split on that.
Well, and most of the people who are monarchists left. The loyalists left. So, but it's neither here nor there. It's like I don't care what America was. I care about what America is now. You can say all the gay stuff and the gay race communism or whatever is a product of Soviet influence. That's cool. Or Jewish influence. That's cool. But guess what? That's what America is now. So it's like, and I highly doubt that if you somehow purge all those elements.
Do you think China doesn't do this? Do you think Russia stopped doing that? They still do the same.
Well, duh. It's a good plan. Then you people are retards for going for it. Most of your people.
Yeah, well,
so it's but here's the deal though, right? It's like, okay, yes, like if I was a head of a government, of course I'd promote transgenderism or faggotry to other countries because politics isn't moral that way. Like China, it's not in China's interest to do things in America's interest. So of course, when they like make games and stuff, they make based games for themselves, and then they promote DEI garbage in America and the West because they're adversaries. It's like, I don't know, you're making it seem like, oh, boo-hoo, like, oh, China's so bad for doing this. It's like, well, that's just
the thing is, Nation, I wouldn't need to do that because I would literally just blow up the Three Gorges Dam and be like, I would be like, oh, sorry, it was Taiwanese.
Yeah, but you're never gonna have power. You're never gonna have power that way, and you have to deal with what you have. So it's like
you're never gonna have you're never gonna have power because even if you controlled Canada, you'd control.
I don't want to control Canada. I know what's right. I put forward what's like right and accurate, and that's the extent of what I do. I get, I know what my position is, and I try to do the best in that
That's because
position.
you have no ambition, nation. You gotta have more ambition than that. And
No,
it's
anyone who wants power probably should be shot, because people who want power are usually like psychopathic
I am a psychopath.
idiots. Well, then that's even more reason why you shouldn't have power or pursue power. You should like try to like
No, I
push
mean
down these kinds of desires and
no.
try to apply yourself to like things that can actually improve your life instead of just wanting to have something you'll never have.
Nation, that's the exact. I'm sure Hitler said the same thing. I don't want power. Hitler said the same thing. If you read the early chapters of Mein Kampf, he never wanted power. He realized that no one else was going to do anything to save Germany, and he had to take it on his own shoulders.
Yeah. So you're saying you want power, and you could say that in Hitler's case, power was thrust upon him, right? Or he had a natural oratory gift, and he had all this kind of stuff going for him. Like, yeah, no, he didn't. Like, he never had it. He wanted to be an artist, right? He didn't want to have power.
He wanted to be an
right?
architect. The artist thing is
whatever. The point is, he didn't like. He wasn't like a political guy until circumstances kind of thrust that upon him. But you're here right now with no power, saying you want power. So it's kind of like, well, you're not very Hitlerian.
I'm sure Hitler at one point, Mein Kampf always makes it out that he wanted power at all points. He said he wanted to be in the military, and he was angry about that. That's being fucked.
It's like look, I like me Crusader Kings. I like me Paradox games where I essentially like rule as like a godlike figure in these games where I control entire civilizations. Like, that's fun, And I'm sure a lot of guys fantasize about like this and that, right? But like objectively, when you think of like the toll power would have on your soul and things you're gonna have to do, it's like, yeah, you can say, oh, how cool it is to do this and that, but like again, the cost isn't worth it for most men, which is why, anyways. But
I mean, it's not
and that's why people who want power are just self-serving psychopaths.
I mean, I'm not really self-serving psychopaths. I generally just want these annoying people, these people that annoy me, to go away. And again, no one is going to make them go away unless you seize power for yourself and you make them go away. All of these,
you can try to power over your own life, control yourself.
Yeah, that's what you should do. That's what you should do to begin with, and that's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That's exactly what Maslow said. You need to.
I'm not saying Maslow. I'm just saying like, okay, if you have certain.
That's the only base psychiatrist and his hierarchy needs. You first fulfill your own needs.
I'm not talking about psychology. I'm not talking about Jewish psychology.
He wasn't. Maslow wasn't Jewish. Maslow was the only Was he?
I don't know. The way it gets promoted everywhere. Like,
no, Maslow fucking hated most psychologists because he talked about the importance of archetypes, dreams, and the more metaphysical than physical. He was one of the only modern psychologists who wasn't a complete psycho.
Sure, but let me put it this way, right? you have a particular affinity for Hitler, and I'm not going to judge on that.
I don't have an affinity for Hitler.
Oh, well, whatever.
I'm just using him as an example.
Okay.
I actually have certain political Adriano.
Okay. So you have that's fine. So there are these certain people that that you look up to, which is totally cool. If that person were in the room with you now or in your life, what would they think of you? How would they like? I wrote an article called "Degenerates on the Right" at one point, and basically it was like, okay, you take a look at all these neo-Nazis. And they're always like, face tatted, meth addict, lascivious, degenerate kind of people, right? And it's like, okay, if you were in the Third Reich, Hitler would take one look at you and send you to a camp. He'd work you pretty hard, right? And it's like, okay, so if you want to like be into Hitler and this kind of stuff, then why are you like the antithesis of the kind of person you want to be with? Or same with communists and Stalin, like all these gay people flying the hammer and sickle. It's like, okay, yeah, like I'm sure you get gulagged or just shot, right? So it's like if you kind of uphold these systems and the people that represent them.
Well, you're looking at that. Look at groups like Aryan Freedom American Patriot Front. Most of their members are pretty normal. They're not like face tat, and they have rules against face tats, and it's really that's like, again, I don't endorse a national trashionalism or like, I have nothing against white trash people, but I generally think anyone with face tats has low impulse control. I would not allow someone in an organization who has face tats. Most organizations now have rules against face tats.
Exactly. Well, and that's a good thing. But the point is, like, it also goes to your internal way of being too as well. Like, yes, okay, great. I'm glad you didn't get on the face tat
No, no,
bandwagon. But in how you conduct yourself in your first,
nation, you got me. I got a bunch. I actually have a bunch of Nazi face tats. I'm like fully tatted up. You know, like Bone Face, that guy. I'm worse than that.
yeah.
It's like all swastikas, Iron Guard symbols.
But anyways, the point is though too. It's like, okay, cool. You do the physical thing, and then it's like, okay, well, now you should try to like kind of orient yourself to be kind of aligned with those people that you look up to, that you kind of hold up as archetypes, and that's what you should try to do. And
I'll start painting a nation.
it's not even painting. It's just like, I don't know
I
how
was
do you
making a
like.
joke.
No, I get it. But I don't know. I think the point is clear. It's like if you hold to these kinds of totalizing ideals and these sort of figures, then
Whoa,
you should you shouldn't repudiate the ideology through
Look at
your
every time
actions.
someone doxes one of the BAP sphere retards, and it's always like this fat, balding, middle-aged, 40-year-old childless weirdo. It's like, yeah, I'm a neat, hardcore Nietzschean. Nation, I really want this podcast to get big, so I should put more effort into it. But that's a me issue.
Well,
I want it to get
I
big
think we
just
sure.
so I can start a fight with them, because I have this idea that if they try and start screwing with me, I'm just gonna I know where they live, and I'm going to beat the piss out of them because I want to see if they're going to call the cops. Because according to the Nietzscheans, that would be very Nietzschean to beat the shit out of someone who's insulting you.
Hmm.
But they would.
Okay.
They would. And the point is like those people don't embody the Nietzschean Bronze Age vitalism. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about halftime. It's just
Well,
repackaged
it's
neoconservative
because
gibberish.
well, they're riding on the coattails of like sort of a pagan past, probably, where it's like, oh yeah, back in the past, there'd be these warlords and they'd like, conquer and rape and they'd have like 50 wives. Ain't that cool? And like, fat dweebs who don't leave their house like, oh yeah, that sounds really cool. So I'm a Nietzsche, whatever. It's kind of like that kind of stuff. Again, I've no no experience with bronze. I've only kind of seen like the weird gay
They're weird.
photos he posts,
They're all a
and it's
bunch
like,
of gay
okay,
pedophiles. They're
sure.
all gay pedophiles.
Oh, so I think we beat the N woman word to death.
We beat the
Metaphorically
Pope.
speaking, obviously.
We beat the Pope to death.
Oh, true. I just don't care. We see what happens.
It's gonna.
Catholics get, just as Christ said. I think it was you get, Catholics will get the Pope dated, and we'll just see where that goes. Where it goes
That
from
was
there.
Cadron who said that.
Was it? Was it? Oh,
Yes.
wait, about Jews. You get the Jews. They live in the swamp of our souls. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, you are quoting a saint. That's fine.
No, that's cool. That's cool. No, but I think Christ did like every ruler, whatever. But
He probably did. It was probably like one of the church fathers. He probably did.
Well, it's kind of like, oh, that a house divided. No, a house divided against itself can't stand. You know who said that?
No idea. Lincoln, I think.
It was Jesus, but then it was quoted by Lincoln. So everyone associated with Lincoln's speech. But anyways, that's kind of funny.
Lincoln was a Satanist and depressed and probably gay. I mean, there's no evidence Lincoln was gay, but I'm gonna call him gay because I don't like him. And any political rumor about anyone I politically don't like, I will immediately accept.
He's spiritually gay.
Spiritually gay. Then again, I do agree with when Gillis said that. I don't really like Shane Gillis, but he did say something that's pretty funny. It's probably like Stonewall Jackson was an autistic man. I was looking at him like, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Like a man who just what?
Oh no, go on.
Or well, anyone who just sits there, like some of the things like you just read Stonewall Jackson would say, or just like that is definitely something I would say. It's a very autistic thing to say.
Low social control.
But well, he was a brilliant general. But that was
oh yeah. Well, it's like that British guy. I forget it. I think it might have been Stonewall, but I think it was a British general. And it was like, oh yeah, no, like on his first date, he told his girlfriend or whatever, or the girl he was courting, how he would use tanks to like conquer an enemy in a future war. And she did not accept his marriage proposal. So
well,
that kind of
I
stuff.
think that might have been Bernard Montgomery.
Oh, it might have been. Yeah. That meme makes the rounds every now and then.
It's like, this is how I'm going to take that war. This is how. I mean, could you? It's funny. It's like I don't think if you actually look at like a lot of the World War II military leaders, almost all of them were manlets.
Really?
Yeah, Bernard Montgomery's 5'5", Rommel's 5'6". Zhukov is just your typical Russian wide man. He's very wide, but he's actually very short.
We need more fat and stocky people in the military, apparently.
Well, no. See, that's only the petty auxiliary forces of the main army of the U.S. All the U.S. generals were literally beasts and like 6'1", 6'10". America doesn't elect short people. We don't like manlets.
Well, because it's all about
Well.
It's all about the appearance of confidence and capability.
Patton was a better general than Montgomery.
That's fair. I mean, I don't really think against Patton, really.
And he was assassinated for realizing, holy fuck, what did I do?
Exactly, yeah. Regret.
He mysteriously died of a heart attack the next day after surviving a car crash, and the car that hit him wasn't supposed to be there. But it was from trauma. There was no autopsy, but he died.
Right.
Don't question what he started saying.
Right. No, that's true.
But the Canadian election, you guys just reelected the Liberals for some reason. I don't know why you did that.
I mean, it's kind of like my view of the Pope is kind of the same as my view of the election. It's like, it is what it is. I know it's kind of like the gay thing people say now, but it's kind of like, okay, like Pierre Poilievre, I have nothing good to say about him, right? Maxime Bernier of the PPC, again, like he says some of the right things, he does some of the right things, but like he's not really serious. He's kind of like Donald Trump if he wasn't capable and didn't. I don't know, just kind of like diet Donald Trump, right? So not really worth anything. Jagmeet Singh, well, he's a Hindu millionaire. Communist, like socialist, like literally though, he was the one. He like on Twitter, he was like at one point, he's like, "Oh yeah, no, we remember the memory of Che Guevara and all this kind of stuff." So no, like literally not like good.
Look, that's rude. Che Guevara would have had him shot for being Indian.
Well, I don't. Yeah, well, no, he did. Well, anyways, yeah, sure, and also being pro-gay and all that kind of stuff too.
Jay was a racist. He was like a racist.
He was racist and homophobic, to use modern parlance. But anyways, and then so Poilievre, he was like not impressed with him. I don't know, just annoying kind of figure. You know what's weird though? Pierre Poilievre, like he has the most French-sounding name ever, but he's from Alberta. I think it's Alberta, and he had to learn French. So the guy named like Pierre Poilievre was not a native French speaker or a Quebecer, or a Quebecois. So that was kind of interesting.
Wait, what about I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the leader of the French.
He was Boucher or whatever. I don't.
Yeah, Boucher.
He's good. I actually kind of liked him. Like, I hate democracy and don't believe in voting, but like I almost was kind of half tempted to vote for him just because like. Here's this guy speaking, and he's so like laser focused on his nation and the culture of his nation, and like the Quebecois culture is kind of horrendous. It's very secular, very anti-religion, very like permissive and kind of liberal too as well. So it's not like good, but to have a leader kind of go up there and kind of essentially fight, at least rhetorically, for the well-being of his nation or how he perceives it's kind of refreshing. So it's like if Canada had a candidate who was like the Bloc Quebecois guy for the whole country, it'd be like fantastic. But I don't know, it's kind of interesting. Like Quebec is interesting politically speaking.
Yeah, I mean, wait, what about the Green Party candidate and her bowl?
Oh, they're irrelevant. They don't matter at all.
I mean, that's just what I look at. Looking at them, it looks like a
Green Party.
Like it looks like Elizabeth May in a black bowl. That's literally what I see when I see those two people. I was like, the fucking.
Like here's the deal, right? When it comes to Canadian elections, there's a bit of a decadence to it in a way, where it's like, if things are good, like things are kind of on the up and up, then you have the luxury to vote Green or vote NDP, or even vote like Bloc Québécois too as well. Right? It's kind of like these are kind of like I don't know. Again, things are good. Let's kind of throw these guys a bone, kind of thing, right? But because this election had kind of an air of urgency to it, that's what we see. Kind of, it's a liberal and conservative
But the Conservative Party in Canada sucks.
It does, yeah.
The worse than the Republicans, which is saying something. They'd be Democrats in the U.S.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're conservative. They permit every kind of social abomination. They support mass immigration.
Where's the Canadian white people's party or the Canadian Nationalist?
Probably get banned. Well, I mean, there have been kind of neo-Nazi parties and kind of far-right parties, but they're never going to get anywhere.
You need to you need to start the Canadian White People's Party.
I don't believe in party politics.
Well, why not?
Because it's fake and gay and American.
well, come on, nation. I told you. Well, my goal for democracy is to dishearten people enough to the point where they just don't vote anymore, and then we started having elections where 10%, 5% people actually vote. Then the system can't sustain itself. I guess that's a very Robert Michel. That's a very Robert Michelian thing to say.
Well, I mean, I hate the system. I don't want to support the system. So I you stab at the system by not participating in it.
You're going to always, by participating, you're legitimizing it, and
yeah.
You should always
there is no
nation. I'm trying to say something. Stop interrupting me. What I'm saying is Robert Michel said that if you engage in liberal democracy, instead of engaging in revolutionary politics, you will always be corrupted by the system, and the system always wins in democracy.
And also for me, it's a moral thing because I'm not going to legitimize something that will never work in my interest. There's no political solution. There's no democratic political solution that way. And I'm not a revolutionary. I don't believe in revolution, right? I know you do, but that doesn't matter. I'm not a revolutionary. So it's okay, well, I'm going to sit in my hands, wait for the system to do what it wills, because it's going to do what it wills anyway. And if things change or if a revolutionary kind of state of affairs happens, you see which way the wind is kind of going.
So you're like the Jewish refuseniks.
Let the system do what it wills.
So you're taking the Jewish refuseniks. What?
Well, who are they?
Well, they were basically Jews in the USSR when they started getting persecuted just to refuse to participate or even remotely engage with the system. Yeah,
but in the USSR, they would get shot.
Well, this was the 70s USSR.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was still some shooting, but they tended to just throw you in prison a lot more.
Sure. But as I said though, right? Okay, so the refuseniks, Jewish or otherwise, they refused to participate in the system, and the Soviet Union collapsed in
same thing
20 years.
In Yugoslavia, there was the just building of the parallel society that just ignored the Yugoslavian government.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I don't know how you could really ignore Tito. He was a very charming man. What? He was. Tito was a very charming dude. If you just
I was gonna make a Smiths reference, but
anyways, I probably wouldn't get it. It's probably some Canadian.
No,
is that like a Canadian?
No, it's a band. The Smiths.
Or
Morrissey. But anyways, and as for Mark Carney, it's look, I mean, the fix was basically in during
he only won because of tariffs and I'm gonna say Mark Carney is actually much smarter because he created his pseudo form of Canadian nationalism.
I know, which it's so most retarded form of nationalism ever exist. Elbows up, buy Canadian. It's like nigga, I would always buy Canadian anyways.
What the fuck do you produce in Canada?
Everything. Canada is the has boundless resources. There's no reason for Canada to import food. We could be fully self-sustainable if we wanted to. Self-sufficient.
We don't need to import anything besides rare earth minerals. That's it. That's the only thing.
Yeah, no, and that's cool. I think every country should be like that in a way. They should try to sustain itself the best it can and not have to rely on the good graces of others. But I don't know where it's going. The gay retard nationalism where it's it's I don't know. It's like I almost don't want to buy Canadian because like, oh, buy Canadian. It's like I've done
No,
that my
I'm gonna
entire
buy
life, but
French now.
no, exactly. I don't know. It's just like, oh, man, I love how this country can like turn everything I like into just gay, but whatever, it's fine.
Well, yeah. I mean, part of one of the only war groups I'm part of, we have a blanket ban on anyone from Canada joining the game or Britain.
Sure, whatever. Natural opponents, that makes sense.
No, it's because they're all fucking annoying, and I figured out like the best way of forming like any group is you just randomly say like racial slurs, and the people who get offended by that you immediately remove from your group.
Makes sense. But anyways, but and back to Mark Carney. I don't know, as I said, right? Like prior to the election, he was, he had a audience with the king, which again, like fantastic as far as I'm concerned. He spoke about Canada's British and French heritage and our European heritage and the indebtedness essentially
He
that we owe to
basically
Europe. And here's the deal, right? He said all those things for the wrong reasons because again, he wants to be like, oh yeah, we love the EU, we love the EU, whatever, right? Like he's doing it like for again, gay retarded reasons. But it's fascinating because you have a liberal, prime minister or liberal politician use nationalism and this kind of these traditional loyalties again for his own agenda, but by invoking these kinds of things it kind of opens a Pandora's box for him, because if we as Canadians, well, me and others like me, can like if we can start looking, if he's given us permission, right? It's like the Negro, the girl who said the N-word, right? Because now Carney has said these kinds of things, those can enter the like discourse again, and we can kind of better assert ourselves and assert our traditional identity. So I don't like Mark Carney. He's like not he's not good, right? But because he's liberal, he's in a position to kind of rehabilitate aspects of the right or elements of the right that pure policy would have never touched. No one else would have ever touched them, right? So, which is kind of interesting. He's kind of pushing back from the post-national thing that Trudeau was doing, and I think only another liberal prime minister could do that, because again, the Conservative Party will never do anything actually right wing. So, if you
well,
want pullback, it has to be kind of from the mono
well
party.
that's what you saw with like Trump's second term. You're seeing with Trump's second term, Biden is the one who set the precedent that you can sick agencies on your political enemies, that you can just dismantle your political enemies' financial systems. That was
Yeah,
Obama. That was Obama and Biden. And they're like, oh, haha, we're never going to lose power. I'm like, you people are very unpopular. Like liberals are very unpopular. Like without the massive propaganda network, like you just see like we can see with the N-word lady, with the Aryan N-word lady.
I mean, Canada's a bit different though culturally, unfortunately.
Yeah, you need your Aryan, nation. You should go be the Canadian Aryan N-word lady. Well, actually, you'd be arrested because you guys have hate speech laws.
No, we not none that thing. Like if you go and you say something that promotes or advocates for, so the things that you said about like hanging, how you want to hang and these kinds of things, right? That might be a free speech faux pas. And there's, I don't know, they're kind of like it's not as bad as people make it out to be. Essentially, like it's not
It's not
good,
as bad as
obviously,
it's
but
not as bad as the UK.
yeah, no, the UK is kind of nuts. Like I'd probably be like lynched if I was in the UK. But
But that would be great for this podcast if you were, though. I mean,
nah.
that'd be horrible. I actually feel really bad about it.
Well, no, we'd probably get like 1,000 views on that one episode, and then like go back to 15 or whatever.
No, we could we'd be like the Huck Tour girl. We'd totally like but then we'd be approached where we'd be like people like Theo and I would have to record Theo. I would meet with Theo, but I'd record it just showing how much of it. I'd be like, yeah, totally.
You'd meet with Theo, the penthouse of a hotel,
Oh, what are you gonna say? You're saying like, what you're saying, just hot and bothered.
you put on. Is he a Jew, Theo?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, so there you go.
He's a gay Jew.
Gay Jew.
Yeah, like
Anyway,
I mean, I'm honestly thinking that Musk is a Jew.
I mean that Black Pill kind of did a video where Elon is like elm tree in like Yiddish or Hebrew, and then Musk might be, but I don't know. I think that's kind of like, I don't know.
I mean,
it could be, but I kind of.
I mean, does the international
I mean, he has the Faustian spirit.
technocratic right really even haven't, like, those Indians involved in it. It's really just a different group of psychos to the
Yeah,
global
yeah, yeah.
homo right. So
No,
global.
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that's why I don't like Russia. Russia is just selling a different form of globalism, and that's what Dugin sells. He just sells a different form of globalism, except it's the Eastern brand. I mean,
Well,
the only real communist dictator who I simp for, and that would be Kim Jong Un, because there's not even such a thing as a homosexual in it, and that is a
well, it's
form.
because it's weird because it's almost like national communism, or not even national
That
Bolshevism.
it's Judaism. Me and Nate
Yeah,
used to
yeah,
talk about it.
yeah, yeah. No.
You're forgetting about glorious Nate. I still talk to Nate occasionally.
Oh yeah, oh, that's good.
He's okay. He's doing okay. He can't do the podcast because he's like busy or something.
Makes sense.
He's got like real life going on. You have real life
Right.
going on, but not as much. I don't have as much real life going on. I actually don't. Usually when I can't do it, I'm just being depressed and sitting in my room crying into the corner.
Hmm.
Or I'm happy, or I decided that the walls of I've decided to have an argument with the walls. I don't hallucinate. That's just me being a joke of I just talk to myself a lot. So I just say, the walls are a very good word. I win the argument with the
Yeah.
walls. The
Well,
walls never.
apparently, talking to yourself is a sign of high intelligence.
Really? Goddamn. I shout like what out myself. So I must be. I mean, to be fair, like
Well,
I
okay, well, okay, well, it's kind of like it's probably like the bell curve, right? People who talk to themselves at the low end, but I don't know. That's just what I heard. But
it is
anyways,
though. Like most people I know who speak their thoughts out loud are much more intelligent. It's the same reason that I don't think people with high IQ really get to the tops of society in modern society. I think people who are better at being very manipulative. Because I have an IQ of like 162, but those people who are smarter than me, it really is. There's a lot of people who know more than. That's the thing. Like an actual smart person would say, there is people like you, but Nation, you know a lot more shit about theology and history than I do, especially on Russian history.
I mean,
And
it was something I studied, so I'd hope
uh,
so.
And that's the whole thing. I mean, that really is the downfall of a lot of these right wing e celebs. They people like Nick Fuentes is not particularly intelligent. He's savvy, but he's not smart. He has cunning. He's not actually particularly intelligent. Because a truly smart man would have realized that the sycophants he surrounds himself should be removed. Like people like Scott Greer, Michelle Malkin, Peter Brimlow,
Well,
Patrick Casey. Those were better capos. Those were better people to have around you and advance your agenda.
I just don't think America First is a serious outlet.
It
I mean, it
used to
has
be at
no.
one point. I think at
It
one
did,
point it
but then
was.
yeah,
I
I
think
don't know.
after. I think he sold that. I mean, Nick Fuentes became a federal informant, which will be
Yeah,
eventually the video I make on right wing infighting, which I'm working on because one of our fans asked me about it, and I am working on it. I have the presentation part done. I just haven't gotten around to doing the audio and the editing, which is
that's
apply.
cool.
But how's your articles going? You written any new articles?
I've got two in the pipeline, so we'll see what's
You,
happening with that.
I feel like I feel like you should just make videos instead of articles. I've been
Nah.
saying this years, but you just continuously write articles. I was like,
Because I don't want to appeal to the video crowd. I want to appeal to the crowd
just
that can actually read or wants to read.
also no blacks.
I mean, it's one, like okay. Remember, well, I guess you wouldn't remember, but okay, back in the day, like when the internet first like came online, right?
I
You had
do,
to be
Nation. I do. I
you
do
do
actually.
Mr.
Like
40-year-old and but the
no,
point is right.
I'm like 29. The internet in its
Yeah.
current form only really started coming around like
Yeah.
2008.
Well, and that's kind of my thing. So there used to be a bit of like to be into computers and to kind of to do stuff online. There was a level of kind of expertise one had to have, and because of that, it served as a filter. It kind of kept out, the dregs. It kept out the plebs, from the internet. Like it was just sort of these people who were kind of, probably higher IQ anyways, had kind of technical interests, and then could use that to kind of promote their other interests too as well, right? So, like for me, when it comes to writing, and this is not to be like a pretentious kind of thing too as well. It's like I
You
don't know. Like
sound
it feels more.
your nation. You thought you and like one of my best friends who is being pussy whipped right now. I mean that not like that's not a sexual thing. He's being pussy whipped by his wife. I gotta deal with his wife. But
Wait, you
he
do?
said what?
Go on.
He sounds the exact same as you when it comes to talking about the internet. Like he has
Well, I
because
mean, like the thing is, right? Like I believe in like classes. I believe in castes. I don't believe that everyone should have the same thing or have the same access to like the same resources. I think society should be like segmented and like whatever, right? I don't believe in social mobility or any of that kind of stuff. And it's like, yeah, no, the internet, everyone go on the internet. Now the internet is for everyone and it's the lowest common denominator.
you know
You can watch porn and TikTok and all this kind of like
that
who does that appeal? That appeals to low impulse control people.
Nation, I'm gonna tell you something. One of the first things that was on the internet was
Was
porn.
porn. No, no,
It's,
no, and I get that
but
now.
this is like
But like,
it's just like you're never gonna get rid of porn on the internet. That was like the
hey,
first thing people
but
used
no, but
it for.
it's like the high and low IQ thing, right? It's like, okay, well, now you're one misclick away from like all the pornography in the like really though, right? Like you Google something without safe search and like even innocuous things. And if you're scrolling down, like, because I've done that before accidentally, right? I'm trying to find like
Well,
an
Nation,
image,
I'll give you
for
an
my blog,
example.
and
I,
anyways,
I've run into things that like shouldn't be on the main party. I'm not gonna say what it is, just illegal things. I was like, how's this still up? I was like, report, and it did get taken down. Google's like, oh, well, sorry. It's like you have filters for this shit. That this is illegal activity.
like that feels like, well, anyways, I don't like that kind of, yeah, like good job,
But
but
the simple fact of the matter is like, yeah, I agree with you. Like I looked up like I forget what it was. It was like this. I was looking for like dog collars for like okay, what? Yeah, no, I was
no,
my
no,
one
no,
of
no,
my
no. I just know exactly where this is going. Yeah, like the whole like bondage garb, like the dog suits people have. Yeah,
yeah,
like
I
yeah,
was like
go
I looked up dog collars and I had saved
go on.
jobs, and I was like, it's like what the. Oh, then my
I
the
know.
Google AdSense would stop trying to sell me. It's like I don't want this. I was trying to buy a dog
Uh,
collar for my friend who got a dog as a gift. Like
oh man,
I did find this company that makes really nice like custom leather dog collars. I did get her.
for her dog.
Yeah, for a dog. No nation, no nation. I'm beating a woman up and I'm tying her up. You got me. I'm tying her up and I'm walking around on a dog.
Oh, you sly dog, you.
I mean, some idiotic like some people on the right like, oh yeah, it's kind of base. Like, no, it's not. That's weird. If you
No,
do that, you're weird.
that is actually like degenerate. No, that is
That is fucking weird.
that's not something to aspire to.
I mean, in the words of Coach, I mean, it is in the words of R.I.P. Greatest American journalist Coach Red Pill. Women on dogs.
She's a dog. Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
I mean, I actually talked to him like a few times. He seemed like an all right dude. It's sad that he died, but
Yeah. I mean, he kind of like, but his death was like literally play stupid games. You know what? Like, okay. Josh Moon is 100% right when it comes to visiting a country. You visit a foreign country, don't talk about politics. Just say, yes, I'm a dumb Canadian. I don't know anything about politics. Just don't get involved because you don't get shot. Like Ethan Ralph in Mexico,
I feel like that would happen to me if I was in Serbia. I'd be like, just Serbia's like Kosovo, Serbia is like, okay.
No, you'd go to Serbia and be like, oh yeah, the Ustaša were cool. They'd get like lynched.
But no, weirdly, like Serbian nationalists don't like Hitler because of the Croat Nazis.
Yeah, but they're also Serbian Nazis. There's Nazis there. Like, quit it. Everyone has their own Nazis. It's cool. Like we can get over the whole Nazi thing. Let's just come to peace with it.
Everyone is a Nazi.
Everyone is commies. Everyone is Nazis.
No.
Like just relax.
Well, the thing about Coach Red Pill, like if I was thinking about it from a Ukrainian perspective. Like it was just not good propaganda to just like throw him in prison. They should just like literally should have just sat his ass on a plane, had a member of the security service sit next to him and fly his ass back to America and kick him off the plane. Like get out.
Yeah, that would have been the best thing to do. I also kind of think that like America probably didn't want to like take him back in a way either. Like he's Argentinian, right? Isn't he?
No, he has U.S. citizenship.
No, but like originally, wasn't he like
You know what's
Argentine?
weird about Coach Red Pill? Like before, like all the whole Coach Red Pill, he was actually a very successful like author and almost became like a big
Uh,
Hollywood guy. It's
Wilshire
so
Boulevard.
yeah, worshipful. Like it almost became like an actual movie.
Nah,
So
but
so there's a reality where Coach Red Pill is like this. Like probably got me too'd for having sex with a bunch of women in Hollywood.
I mean that could still happen at this point.
You well, he's
You know. But I think like and Josh did a good stream of his life, but it seemed like yeah he had early initial success as an author, and he kind of just fell off. I think like he worked on other kind of stuff, and it didn't have the same kind of flair. I don't know. Was he like I don't know. He kind of seems like a guy who could have partied a little too hard and kind of
he probably did. He partied a bit too hard and got way too involved in foreign politics.
yeah.
Like I would definitely, I probably wouldn't get arrested in Serbia. The Serbians would just look at me like I'd be if I was living in Serbia, I'd be the most overly enthusiastic Serbian ultranationalist.
No,
And
I'd have a good time in Serbia.
I probably,
Yeah.
yeah, apparently Serbia does have a good nightlife. I would get,
Wow.
I would probably get arrested by the Serbian government for plotting to start a war and something involving terrorism and Albanians.
Mm.
You know, the funny thing is, I have Albanian friends who are Orthodox. They're nice people,
Oh
but like,
yeah.
I don't like Albanian Muslims. I hate those people. I hate
Mm.
any Balkan Muslims. They're always the most annoying people.
Mm.
Fuck everyone. Fuck anybody who's European and Muslim. They're all. Even though I will make the joke about white Sharia.
Right. Yeah. No. Well, it's the sign of yeah. They've rolled over essentially.
Yeah, they're spiritually brown. White Muslims are spiritually brown.
Yeah. Like apparently Albania is kind of a I don't know a disaster, but I mean
It's a state that's literally nothing but mobsters. Not like low level crime, like actual like organized crime.
what are they ethnically? Albanians? Are they
Uh,
like Arab?
they're white. They're
Okay.
kind of more similar to Greeks.
Oh, okay. So like Med then.
Yeah, like people like to say Turks, but like most Turks are ethnically Greek or more closely aligned with Greeks. Actual Assyrians,
Okay.
Lebanese, Greeks, and but there's a lot of Slavic ancestry in the Balkans due to the Slavic migrations down. Like a lot of the Illyrian Greeks went further south after the Slavs like slaughtered a lot of them due to the and yeah, it's like Ukrainians are technically the same ethnic group as Russians. They're both Rusic, but then there's a lot of non-Rusic Russians. Well, they're not Russians. They are Asiatic steppe Mongols who, that's my whole thing with Ukraine and Russia. I'll give you my actual opinion. Ukraine and Russia should both unite back so they can do the true thing. They should be instead of wasting all these lives, which is killing Asiatic steppe nomads. They driving the Asiatic horde back to where it belongs.
Yeah, or subjugating them to well yeah, just put them under the
Subjugating.
crown.
Well, yeah, they need to be going back to subject. You're not supposed to let Tajiks, Uzbeks, or any of those people. They're not allowed in Moscow. They're in the mining colonies where they mine ore, and if they get uppity, they get hit. I
Yeah, well,
generally think that's
hopefully
why actually the Kulakization and I generally think Stalin's hatred of Ukrainians really comes down to the fact that the iron fist of basically the Tsar was always the Kazakh regiments. They were always the ones set in to deal with the rebels. So there was
no,
some.
that's true. They were like the elite,
They,
kind of guard that way.
well, yeah. So to me, it seems like the real modern flaw in and the breakdown of relations is why the hell would any free Ukrainian bow down to Putin? Who's he? Some fucking manlet? He's not a Romanov. See, like if I
I mean,
was
the
like
problem the problem with Putin is that because Russia is so understandably kind of against Nazism and National Socialism, right? They're kind of like scared of invoking kind of ethnocentric or nationalist ideals, right? Because that's like, oh no, we're just like Hitler and blah blah blah, right? You
Well,
know, and it's like, because like if he just said like, oh hey, Ukrainians are essentially like are basically our people that have kind of a novel language and will support them and promote them and whatever, right? Like if they kind of if he came from like kind of an ethnic kind of argument or a nationalist argument like that's a compelling thing. But then when he's like, oh yeah, no, well we're gonna like denazify and this. It's like it's not like
Putin is really a product of the schizophrenic mixture of post of Russian life. He's a former KGB agent. He like and the and the really they want to build a new Soviet Union, and just like they try to square that peg with that round hole. They see that under in the 80s people were generally afraid of Russia. Now we just see it as a joke.
well, I think he has the pragmatism of like a Soviet official, but it's like he sees like just from kind of like a secular geopolitical slash political kind of opinion, right? He sees where the Soviet Union went wrong and like how it harmed Russia in the long run, right? And I think that's kind of his view of it. So like, because when you look at the Tsarist Russia, it was industrializing like really quickly, the breadbasket of the world essentially, like everything was kind of going up, right? The Bolshevik Revolution happened, and it basically knocked 50 years off of Russian development, right? And then Stalin comes in, and like in a matter of like 20 years, he's kind of able to bring it up again and go a little bit quicker. But like the initial Soviet period essentially represents a lost 2 decades of Russian development. And then there's all the other kind of stuff on top of that too as well. So I think that's how kind of Putin sees like the Soviet kind of stuff, right? And then and with the fall of the Soviet Union, it's like, well, that's sort of the natural result of these kinds of ideas and these kind of system imposed on Russia. So whereas he's not going to condemn the Soviet Union per se, because it is sort of, he sees as like an extension of kind of the Russian state as it's existed in history, I don't think he's particularly fond of it. Even if there's a lot of stuff about the Soviet Union that he does like support or is nostalgic for or whatever, I think just kind of he takes kind of a more, dispassionate look that way when it comes to political kind of things with the USSR. So yeah, like I don't know. Putin, he's imperfect. I mean, I do think he's trying to do what he feels is best for the continuation of the Russian state and the Russian people. But again, he's not like a nationalist, and he doesn't. I don't think he views the world in ethnic terms that way. And the reason why he won't. Oh, did you lose?
No. I was just trying to find something to send it to you because I saw if you wanted background noise of like for like if you're driving places. Like that's a good channel on like the. It's actually it's done by a member of the Canadian military. His analyzation of what's the Russian conflict. He's pretty neutral.
Okay, interesting.
He's a high-ranking member of the Russian.
Well, what was the? I like how you in the first video he has Kiev and Kiev, like he does a little slash. It's kind of like when I write an article and it's like, oh, God or God,
Is it pronounced? I don't think it's even pronounced Kiev. I don't think you pronounce K's that way. I'm pretty sure Russian K's and V's are pronounced differently. So Ukrainian K's and V's are pronounced.
I mean, calling it Kiev is the virtue signal. It's like
I don't think anybody even. I don't even think like Ukrainians say it that way. Like it's not Kiev, it's Kievin. Wouldn't it be more like Kievin if you're using the more original? Like yeah, because it's the city.
Well, I'll look. I mean, again, my Cyrillic pronunciation is not like beautiful, but I'll go to Wikipedia and see kind of how it's pronounced in the Cyrillic. Yeah, no, that's like Kiev. It's like Kiev.
Yeah, because it was the original thing was the Kievan root, so it'd be Kiev.
Yeah, it's like Kiev. I don't know what the I with the 2 dots, but like the K and the reversed N, like that's a E, so it's like Kiev. It's like Key. I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's more like it's a key. Yeah, and then like however you do the F.
It's not like Kiev. It's like Kiev.
No,
because they're
It might
using
be.
they're using
Yeah.
they're using like more like an English like C sound
Right.
instead of like a Russian K sound, which is more like
Right.
it's more like key. It's key, and the V is pronounced a bit different. It's like they don't have a V in Russian. So Willick decides that it's A
No,
B
no, they
C.
they have a V in Russian.
Okay, whatever. The weird backwards R.
Yeah, that's well, that this would be in Ukrainian. But the B. Anyways, that's just interesting.
Yeah, but then like people was like I was like listening to like when I was driving to like get training like 2022, and everyone kept saying key. I was like, that's not how you pronounce that. That is
Well,
completely.
yeah, it's just annoying that they like that
It's
they do that.
it's like it's not even remotely how you pronounce that the Ukrainian name of it, and everyone calls it Kiev anyways. It's been Kiev for like Kiev is just a slightly different pronunciation anyway.
Well, they do the same thing with Turkey now. Isn't it like Turkey or something?
It's Turkey isn't a real country. That's
None.
Constantinople in Asia Minor. Like people need to stop with all these fake ass countries that they invented. Like what is this? Like Syria is a real country. Lebanon's a real country. Turkey is not a real country. Egypt is a real country. Even Iraq is a real country. Turkey is literally a fake country.
Imagine arguing that Egypt isn't a real country. I know
I
people,
mean,
but that'd just be kind of funny.
I mean, it is though. Like Egypt is one
No, I
like
know, I know, I know.
like 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 Palestine is legitimately not actually a country. Palestinians are a fake ethnic group. They are fake as shit. There's one part of Africa that the Italians completely created this country and they're like super nationalistic about this fake country Italy created to make territorial claims. Well,
I
modern
don't
India
know.
is a fake country. Most of modern India has hundreds of
Yeah.
different ethnic groups living in it. And if you look at an old map of India from before
Well,
the
the
British
British Raj.
before the British got there, it's much smaller.
What are the other regions around it then?
Uh, the Nepal, Bhutan. There's this one
Well,
specific.
like ancient country wise before the British came, because there was
Uh,
the Raj. Because
there
like,
was the Raj. There was, I think, the Bhutanese controlled parts of it.
well,
The
because
Mughal
basically it was under
Empire.
Muslim domination until the British came.
Yeah, that's the Mughal Empire. There was the Afghani, whatever it's called. The
The Pashtun people.
yeah, the Pashtun. Like Afghanistan is actually a lot bigger than its current state. Like Pakistan, half of Pakistan is just if I was like India, if India was smart, they would go to the Afghanis and say, "Hey, look, we want to invade Pakistan, but can you will you invade the other half because that's rightfully your like half of Pakistan is literally just Afghani territory."
Yeah, but considering what India's like, I'm
They
sure the
they were.
Taliban doesn't want to get any closer to Afghanistan.
You mean India? Well, they're both Muslim. They'd side
Or
against
yeah,
them just on the principle that they're pagans. Oh yeah, we could talk about this, but I don't think anything's gonna happen in the Pakistani. Nothing's
yeah.
gonna happen.
It's like all this news is happening. It's like my answer is basically I don't care. It's like, oh, I don't care that Mark Carney
Like I
won.
mean, I do
I
fully
don't care
support.
that.
Pakistan Zindabad, Pakistan forever. I fully support
And
Pak. I fully support Pakistan simply because I hate India.
I mean, the Pakistanis are pretty rapey though.
They're rapey, but yeah, I
So
mean, besides that, I fully support. Like Indians are too. They're just not. Oh, did you cut out? God damn it! I hate. God damn it! Why does everything freeze constantly? Nation, you still there? Hello? You cut out there. Nation, hello? Hello? I. Hello? God damn it. Oops, shouldn't say that. Well, I guess I'll see everyone next week because Nation's internet crapped out. Nation, hello. I can't hear you saying anything. Oh, he's gone. I guess I got like 5 minutes. Let's see. Do I have any questions? No, because reasons. Maybe I just mess around with features. I want 320p. Damn, we. Well, I guess I'll see everyone next week.